I'm Ryan Iverson, and this is the Investor Breakout Weekly Insight. Let's talk about what happened this week. For years, the story has been capital leaving Canada. Is that finally starting to change? JPMorgan is making a major bet on Canada. The world's largest bank is expanding its $1.5 trillion Security and Resiliency Initiative into Canada, targeting sectors like energy, critical minerals, defense, advanced manufacturing, and strategic technologies. That is a meaningful signal. This is not government money. This is one of the largest financial institutions in the world actively looking to deploy capital into Canadian growth opportunities. The initiative was launched by Jamie Dimon to strengthen supply chains, energy security, and economic resilience. And Canada fits the theme. JPMorgan has already deployed more than $122 billion globally through the program and expects to invest billions more in Canada over the coming years. The timing is interesting. As Ottawa pushes to attract more private investment and accelerate major projects, one of the world's biggest banks is stepping up and saying it wants to be part of the story. The question is whether this marks the beginning of a larger wave of global capital flowing back into Canada. What happens when a room full of active investors gets exclusive access to 54 pre-qualified growth companies through CEM's signature 20-minute meeting format? You get insights that never make it into a press release. One of the most anticipated moments at every CEM event is the Investor Breakout Exchange, an exclusive session where participating investors compare notes, debate opportunities, and identify the companies that stood out from the crowd. Following a packed schedule of meetings, presentations, and the exceptional networking in the Bermudian sun, investors gathered once again to rank their top opportunities from the event. The feedback from this year's event was overwhelmingly positive. Investors consistently pointed to a strong mix of sectors represented. And most importantly, they came away with no shortage of compelling opportunities to explore. Based on investor rankings, the top 5 picks from the 2026 CEM Bermuda Capital Event are U92 Energy, Carrier Connect Data Solutions, Forge Resources, Pulsar Helium, and Superordinary. Selected from a field of 54 participating issuers, these companies emerged as the names investors were most excited about leaving Bermuda. Visit investorbreakout.com to access the full Top 5 Picks newsletter and detailed event results. Be sure to subscribe, as we'll be publishing an in-depth editorial spotlight on each of the top 5 companies over the next 5 weeks. Every CEM event ends the same way. After a full day of meetings, investors gather for the Investor Breakout Exchange and compare notes on the companies that stood out most. This year in Bermuda, more than 60 investors casted their votes. The top pick was U92 Energy, and it's easy to see why. The company trading as UTWO on the venture is advancing their uranium project in Guyana, which already hosts a historical uranium resource of approximately 20.6 million pounds. This isn't a grassroots exploration story. More than 129,000 meters of drilling have already been completed, giving U92 a substantial database to work from as it advances the project. Since going public earlier this year, the company has raised $3.8 million, acquired the project's historical technical data, and launched a 5,000-meter drill program aimed at expanding and upgrading the resource. The backdrop is also helping. With nuclear energy gaining momentum globally and many analysts forecasting a long-term uranium supply gap, investors are paying a close attention to companies with existing resource and clear growth potential. U92 checked a lot of boxes for investors in Bermuda, and now the market will be watching to see if the next round of drilling can turn a historical resource into an even bigger uranium story. Read the full editorial spotlight coming soon to the Investor Breakout newsletter. I'm Ryan Iverson, and we'll see you next week.